Yeah.
All right, here we go. Oswald here. Ears will see. Got an episode of for graffiti manga going on. This is gonna be the first like split screen thing that me and Jabbar will be doing. We're gonna probably be doing this. I guess it's called a video podcast. Um, just to kind of let everybody know what we doing, how we doing it, and what's happening. Um, Again, I'm Wayne Suffin. That's Jabbar Brown. Uh,
Brown.
and the kind of topic of conversation tonight, me and Jabbar will be talking about how we, I guess, got our voice in comics, independent comics. What I guess how we develop our stories and what indie comics in my opinion a little bit different from like I guess mainstream comics. It allows you to kind of put your voice into what it is that you're doing, and nobody can tell you whether it's right or wrong, and you can create like stories that you want to create. So,
Mm.
what you think about Jabbar? That's about was that about a? I guess you feel that's about a correct summation about like allows you to.
Yeah, I mean, independent and writing is you're free. You
Yeah.
don't have the walls on you. So yeah, I say you're really on point with that. Like you got freedom of speech and to do what you want.
and that at the end of the day, I didn't I know that's what I want now, but when it started off. I don't know about you, but everybody wants to draw for Marvel or DC or some
Mhm.
big name comics, and then as you start progressing, going into what it is that you're doing, and you start seeing like all these, what you contractually, what you can do, and what you can't do, working for Marvel and DC it doesn't look so appealing.
It don't add up.
Yeah.
It don't add up. You be like, what? Like, I got to do the exact same story that somebody else did like 5 years ago. You got it.
And you start, you know, introducing your own stuff, all of a
Yeah.
sudden you find out you don't own it no more. You
Yep.
know,
Ain't that the truth?
now and that's I found that to be real problematic. I couldn't, you know, uh,
I
you
wouldn't
know,
like that at all. That's
you know,
not cool with that.
not cool at all, not cool at all. And then I mean, if you really, when you get into it, they tell you what stories you got to do, and you can actually create something, go all the way through with it, and then they can scrap it at any point. So you know, but I guess getting back on course, I started. My thing is when I started writing, what I write about a lot of what I write about is kind of my stories usually have a kind of like a supernatural feel to it. And some of it, a lot of it's kind of based in like some factual stuff, like supernatural, strange stuff that I read. Like Dirty Clergy has a lot of, I guess, kind of like religious overtones that kind of incorporate supernatural stuff as well. And a lot of what you find that they do is based in like you know what we do, I guess, in reality, like the part with the water and stuff. That's a
Yeah.
big part in religion with baptism and all of that. So it is rooted in that. Even with the Astral Jacks, web comic, or and it's kind of going to be it's going to be an actual graphic novel. Um, it gets into the astral plane, which is like you know borderline in the supernatural, so on and so forth. So a lot of my writing goes into that aspect. Um, a lot of what I see you do has a lot of historical significance. You bring in a lot of you know historical facts and things that kind of make people think about like I guess social norms and stuff that needs to be corrected in from uh, a standpoint of civil liberties and all that we deal
Yeah.
with here in America. And so, how did you? What made you kind of get on that kick? What?
Everything glitters ain't gold, yo.
Well, ain't that the truth?
So, when they be like, this place is gold, well, you can love it or just leave it. And you be like, well, this shit ain't so hot over here. You know what I mean? And who are we to tell somebody to get up out of here and shit, So,
Yeah.
there's good and the bad. So, like, my thing is just like with that, when I make the stories, it's there's rich and poor. And a lot of people are like, oh, those are middle class. You're like, don't be fooled. But anyway, like
Yeah. I will
it's just
say,
good, bad, and poor, rich. That's if you ain't got a house in Acapulco and you ain't living like like Kardashians and you just got corporation after corporation and no,
well,
you poor.
well, a lot of people get caught up in the fact that they don't realize that they're poor because they're doing a lot better than somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's where we having the whole problem is. I think I don't
And
want to
that's
quote
why
anything wrong.
superheroes and supervillains, they think they're doing
Yeah,
something. You be like, but yo, you're mediocre. And they be like, no, I'm powerful. And you be like, no,
we in this thing. We still in the same situation. You're not realizing we in this. So the thing of it is, some years ago they asked a wealthy man, a politician, and because I'm not sure which one it was, I saw it. I'm not gonna call him names, but they asked him who constitutes who's poor, and he said anybody that makes under $5 million. Now that was an answer from a very wealthy person, not realizing the mean average income, and I might be off with this, is probably like $50,000, and I'm still highballing it. We're talking about fifty
that's
thousand
what I'm saying.
dollars.
So that's
So
what I
and
write.
that's the
That's why I write
majority
about corporations, yo.
of the
It's a
company.
corporation.
Yeah, that's the majority of the country. Like so to think that you're poor if you're making less than $5 million, that tells you where a lot of people's heads at. Now the people that's making $100,000, they a year, they think they balling. When you start looking at the people that's making like 22,000 a year, but the people that's making a hundred grand are looking at in terms. Well, at least I'm not that.
Yeah. See, that's how my characters are. Yeah, like the man, and we have Benedict Arnold. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's like, I got money, but my man has so much power. He's an alien, and Benedict Arnold just still just like, I got money, and he's like, yo,
Yeah.
but I could destroy this planet. He's like, well, I still got money, and
Yeah.
he doesn't understand like the rich and poor thing. It was
Yeah.
powerful, and you could have the money, but he's
But
telling you he could destroy the planet,
the
and you're
planet.
still talking about, man, I got G's,
Yeah.
I
It
got
just
billions,
yeah. And
and
and that is
I love to write that dynamic, then put a story in between that because. Like with Wayne, he's a great fill-in. So you could be like, Wayne, like we need this to fill in. Wayne would be like, okay, but what if we take it at this angle? And I'd be like, I don't know about that. Like, we might rub somebody the wrong. So we'll
yeah.
get into it
Well,
for a second, but the thing is,
I
we
tell
always
you
agree to
what,
disagree on some stuff. Then we like, yeah, let's use that shit. You know what I mean? And
on the
it makes the
real,
writing better and easier.
like I said, the older I get, the less punches I pull. I'm like, yo, hey, let's roll with it. And hey, what do I mean? What they gonna do at this point?
You got nothing else to lose.
We independent artists, and as we're doing what we do, and that's the whole basis of what the whole graffiti making thing is about. Is just I did a video last night on what graffiti, well, what manga was, and manga. Let me pronounce it correctly. And a lot of people, we were talking about this the other day. A lot of people were talking. They think when you say manga, oh, it's Dragon Ball Z, but they're not. Yes, Dragon Ball Z is manga, but it's manga because it's a comic, not because of the style. People now
Going
envision
right on out
manga
of
as a
there. It's
specific
like,
style. Yeah, it's not even about it being a comic. It's that's manga style. No, manga is not a style. It's a word for it's a Japanese word for comic book. So that's kind of what I was talking about the other day. And then I get into the graffiti part of it. That's why I put the two words together, because graffiti, regardless of when you do graffiti, it means something regardless of if there's a meaning. And the reason I'm saying that is because graffiti started off as graffito, and it goes, and like if you go to the site, it goes ancient history, goes back to Egypt, to Greece, whatever. So it goes further back, but it was meant to make a statement. And then, like, when people are in areas of making paint on walls, they're making a statement that a lot of times they don't have access to art museums to show their work. So it's like, here, look, this is me, this is what I'm doing, and this is the only way you're probably going to get to see or know who I am. Now
And it'd be beautiful.
yeah. So we're not
It's
talking,
beautiful.
and a
Like
lot of
to
people,
me, that started really the anime era with the big eyes and the pointy hair. If you watch Wild Style, and you see when my man falls off the back of the scaffolding, phase one, look at the artwork. The dude has a yellow ball with 4 red stars in it. Makes you go like this.
yeah. And you know what? I didn't pick up on that until you told me to check it out. I did. I was like, I'll be doggone.
Did I tell you?
Yes.
Did I tell you? They had
Yes.
Dragon Ball Z
I said,
before Dragon Ball Z.
I said, hold up.
And like, it made me wonder. Like the first time I see Dragon Ball, I was like, oh, this must be the same artist.
Nah.
No, my man's in New York still, like you said, one of them struggling. I was like, hold on. And they making Dragon Ball XD.
Yeah. Making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
No. And like I said, a lot of stories I do create. I guess going back on that, a lot of stories I do create do incorporate like some of my experiences. I made what is I guess make it bigger and more problematic the situation is, so that it is more entertaining from an aspect of from a reader aspect, but like um like the one we did with the God Particle, the I took a segment and we made a comic book out of it, where he goes to the woods and he's just like tired of like just dealing with, he happens to be a melanated character, which black melanated character, and he's enslaved the planet, but within the process of doing it, there's he knocked over one of the monuments and whatever, and not within the whole process of, people aren't thinking about, oh, yo, he just stopped the destruction of this. Oh, it's just, he messed up the Capitol building. So he's like, you know what? Forget this. I don't have time for this. So now I relate that back to my regular everyday life. Now people do not remember the specific thing that you did. It's just a one component that may just been off, or if you're late for work, the little stupid stuff that is just minuscule. That's what they want to nitpick on, and not. And I understand stuff is business and stuff. People, but the thing of it is, it's just like, and same thing holds true. The reason I did that particular dynamic is to show, it here in with what we got going on. A lot of times you can be a melanated person, a black person, and you can do something great, but somebody's going to find the worst element of that. And that's what this character is dealing with. So he goes and, is doing the thing, you see it with other characters too, like when Wolverine was like, I'm tired of this mess, and he goes in the woods. Even with the movie with Magneto in it, he was just tired of people just messing with him for being a mutant. And he done went and he back over in Russia somewhere, minding his business, working at a doggone factory, But then he actually saved somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you done saved it, but you're a mutant." Oh, then they can't leave the man alone. They're gonna go to his house, end up shooting. Did he shoot his wife and his kid? And
Uh,
you know what movie I'm talking about.
yeah,
And then he's like, you know what? I
James was
tried,
tired. Logan was
I
just tired of it.
tried, and you know, and this this goes back over to then like this all anybody that's watching this does tie into like writing because I'm seeing how it affects some of some of day to day stuff does go into my writing, but and this goes. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video that I talk about bad guys and are they really bad guys? And Magneto's name comes up because hey, Magneto's not
He's not a bad
quintessentially
guy.
the bad guy. It's just a situation where it's just kind of like I'm tired of this BS. Same thing with Killmonger. He's not necessarily quote unquote a just down and dirty bad guy. Just like I'm gonna arm
Yeah,
these people
yeah,
that
he's
don't have a way to fight
like
back.
certain bad guys. Like a bad guy's like Joker.
And you hit the nail on the head because I
You know
said,
what I mean? Like a
but
bad guy
then
is like
I said,
Luthor. Lex Luthor, he can dwell in and out, but most
yeah,
times he'll go bad because
but
he just be like, you know what? If I
but
have too
then
much power, I'm this anyway.
yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean? It's like the
well,
kingpin. Like he'll talk about real things happening to the neighborhood and nobody caring, so he does all the giving and then if the cops
yeah.
don't like it, I'll kill them. You'd be like, hold on, bro. Like
But you
you were
go
just doing good
see,
things a minute ago. Then,
see,
then
and
you'd be like,
that's
I'm gonna
the other
kill him.
thing.
You know, and
The other thing, if you really take it a from the Joker might not necessarily if he get on some meds, he might not be a bad guy either.
no, he probably just be a good
So
comedian because
so yeah,
he do some awful stuff to Batman. And
so
Batman won't even
yeah,
do nothing to him. Just
I'm trying to think of a not even Thanos. If you're coming from a like a omnipotent like being where you're really powerful.
yeah, like Namor.
Yeah, well, see, yeah, because well, Thanos, real quick. If you look at the method in his madness, okay, well, granted, if I get if I get rid of like half the galaxy, it's going to be more resources for the people that are still left,
Yeah,
and we can so now that's feasible from a standpoint of like if like for example if you have a ant farm
yeah.
and
See, he wasn't like Doomsday. Doomsday was
yeah
like, I'm just gonna fuck all y'all up.
yeah
You know what I mean? Like
but
it
yeah
was totally different from the Gauntlet. You know what I mean? He's
yeah
like, I gotta get the rings and the
yeah
jewels. You know what I mean? And like there was stuff to it, like those elements of
yeah
maybe I won't destroy this world because we might
but
need this later on. But
yeah
I'll destroy this part and I'll destroy your future on this part, but y'all need this, so I'll be
it was
cool with that.
but and then he then he went back to his little planet or where he was at was looking out the window like
Yeah, just
like out of I've done something good so I don't know but yeah
yeah, they have bad guys in the world. Like you got the Predator, you got the Alien. You know what I mean? Like there's some bad motherfuckers out there. It's just we got to realize like there's some bad guys, but some guys are the bad guys, and they're not really bad guys. They're not that bad, compared to some other bad guys like the Mirror Man. He doesn't even
yeah
have no. He's just a mirror stuff. He's a bad guy. He likes to rob banks and have mirrors. You know what I mean? So like it sounds stupid. So automatically he's a bad guy. If it sounds stupid, like yeah, that's a bad guy.
yeah I'm now I guess speaking on like from a writing standpoint this goes into characterization
Hmm.
like that's kind of how I don't know, I was just thinking of like some crazy stuff when I thought of like Benedict Arnold. It's just kind of like
Yeah,
like somebody just I just the test that just trying to that is not beneficial for the neighborhood or anything like that, and
not at all.
that's where so that also goes into I guess creating I guess the story or um how do you come up with your characters? What you Does it just pop up, or you just sit around and you just like, um,
I just I just collect personalities. I'll collect the personality, and then I have like, well, you know me, I just be drawing up stuff like all the time. I just be drawing up characters, and then I'll be like, that one gets it. But you know, like 4 or 5 years, like I'm using Techno Thug, and I was like, he was gonna be a good guy. He's gonna be like one of my main shot people, and I was like, fuck that, he's a bad guy now. I can use him for a bad guy now. Like instead of sitting there saving universe, like let him take minerals from universes, and some people ain't gonna dig that. So he gonna be like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like if you got something to say about it, I'll dust you off. I collected your main minerals. You know what I mean? Like that's a cool bad guy right there. Like I can collect all your minerals that you need on your planet, and I can use them against you. And you might
yeah.
complain later on, and he might not like
I
it.
tell you what, I did one of the. I don't remember if you remember when I was coming up with the bad guys that was going to, I guess, deal with Alpha Megas. I actually had them like Q Star, which is actually a Quasar. He's actually an actual phenomenon that has incarnated himself into a humanoid form. So also
Yeah.
is the character, the girl that's called Event Horizon, that can actually slow down time.
Hmm.
And so, a lot beforehand, a lot of my characters, um, I would come up with, and I try to ground the whole thing within some plausibility. So if
Yeah.
somebody were to ask me, I would have an actual like scientific way to explain how this is plausible and this person has his
Mm.
abilities and whatever. But and I used to have difficulty because I wanted to make everything make sense. And now you do want to kind of, I guess, be in the range. Well, I do want to kind of be in the range of making some kind of sense. But I've relaxed it a little bit because it's fantasy.
Yeah. Ain't
And
nobody losing a job.
yeah, and you gotta, sometimes you gotta, I guess, I'm sitting here with a daggone towel and I'm looking like a stuffed shirt now. You gotta let go. But um,
I mean, but the thing is, but when you do come up with characters, it's like Wayne does something like this. I'll be like, Wayne, what about this character? And he'd be like, yeah, Jabbar, that sounds good. But what if you use this and this and that? That'll destroy all him right out the back. I'd be like, you know what? I gotta go to work. See, go to work. I'll be thinking about him like that motherfucker. And then I'll come back, I'll be like, yo, but if I put this onto the character, I know Wayne will add on to it and be like, this is what you need to make this character solid. And that's the good part. Like when you have somebody that you can vibe off of, I'll be like, well, if he can't, he can't be around water, but he can do all the other stuff. But Wayne would be like, yeah, but that's like in the air, and he'll break it down to scientific when you be like, you know what? That's it. You know what I mean? And we'll use that for his weakness, but we won't even go
yeah,
to the weaknesses through all through the book until at the end you'll make the characters like this is what we need to do and this and that. Then you realize your main good guys are smarter than what you thought they were. It's just not just plain action; they're actually appear smart,
yeah,
and that's why like when Derry Clergy, like at the end of the book, and they're on the building, they're looking, getting ready to go in this guy's building. Like first it was like, yeah, get the car, do this, and then they're kicking that. They're kicking behind, but when they get on top of this building, all this stuff starts going over, and she's asking these questions, and a man's filling them up like, yeah, we gotta do this, and that. She's like, yeah, but what if we do that? And by the time they get over there, they're just kicking butt because they outthought the bad guys before they got over to the bad guy building. Like I remember this so much because I must have colored it like twice because I screwed it up before and lost one. And then I had to go back over, but I had to go read it again. And it's like, yo, they're setting it off on this. Like before, I just didn't pay no mind. It was just reading through, and I'm like, okay, they doing their thing now. I got it and everything. But when you sit there and think, and you start reading that part of the book, you put the whole like major plot Like you tied a little bit in the beginning, like, yeah, they're gonna be drinking this water, and later on they're gonna be doing this, they'll be fighting the demons. But this right here, if you don't pay attention to this, you're gonna lose out on a lot.
Yeah. What it, and I was talking with the guy the other day, and we were discussing the book, and I was like, you know, something the Dirty Clergy book, you have to read it, and you might read it twice. But there's like we were saying the other time, there's like tidbits in there, and but it's a cohesive story, and and I'm trying to I like to like you actually build a fan base off that, because you know you start looking at sometimes some people don't like to read books that they like, yo, what, you know, is this, I hope that I'm not writing stuff that is just too in depth or too deep. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be enjoyable.
Nah, because I dig it because it's like, to me, it's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like one of them old, ice, like Ice and Hot, with them, like, one of them, like them dope cartoons, like them old Conan things. You're like, yo, this is dope. He's
Yeah.
dropping some knowledge right here. If you don't catch on, you might have to just watch it again. And the thing, it wasn't nothing bad when you were younger. You watched Thundercats like 4 or 5 times, get the
Oh, yeah.
message. You just, because you were just so consumed with Jatara and
Yeah.
the Lord of Mumra, and you know what I mean. You were just all in, and you forgot
It's
the
all in
message.
there.
All in. It had a
Oh, yeah.
message, like, you know what I mean. Don't
Oh,
be,
yeah.
don't consume yourself with this and this and that. Don't, agitate other people. You ain't getting none of that. You just he got the nunchucks and he just looked
Yeah.
tough. You know what I mean? Look at the battle cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just get all the message, but after you watch it like 4 or 5 times, you'd be like, even when you
You're
get
like,
older,
okay.
you'd be like 30, 40 years old, be watching, be like, yo, I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to.
Like, oh, my bad. I didn't know they was doing that.
Yeah. Just trying to throw a positive message out there. I definitely know exactly what you're saying, because I remember some of the GI Joe stuff though.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
when they be like, "And no one's half the battle."
yeah. You know what I mean? They didn't give a thumb up, so it was almost like Rambo. Like Rambo, after the show, Rambo, the force of freedom. They didn't put the music on, so you might think the show is coming back on, but then my name is Rambo, John Rambo. You know what I mean? You're like, even that don't even sound like him. But you would just sit there. It was like Mudfoot. And he'd be like, yeah, you see that boy? Give me some candy, boy. And he's talking about the boy's underarms, and the boy don't wash his butt. You know what I mean? And he's like, he's not washing his booty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And that
maybe I should wash my booty like 2 times a day. If he talking about his, you know what I mean? You ain't got me nothing. Because just Mudfoot then said it. If Mudfoot said he ain't got no teeth. You know what I mean?
But you know, but at the end of the day, I guess what would be, I guess, to kind of circumvent this up, that gives them, bring it to like a little close here. What would you recommend anybody that's coming in as an independent artist? How would you suggest they find their voice in the comics industry?
I did it as I still should be doing it more often, but look at everybody's mistakes. When they always talk about what we could have, what we should have, what we could do, and this and that. Look at that. Listen to it. If you got to, just sit there and play it over again. That's why you got YouTube. So give them more hits. So when you listen to how they screwed up real bad, and like, yeah, we just gave away our characters. Yeah, we work for a company, and then we ain't have nothing else to write. And then they'd be mad, like, oh, they make my character sound corny. Because yeah, you got different writers now because somebody took your character. You know what I mean? Like, watch that stuff. I'm telling you, if you're an artist or a writer or colorist, look at the people's stuff and be like, whatever they did wrong, I'm gonna do right. So, because God's giving it to you as a lesson. It's a lesson learned. It's like getting punched in the face. You'd be like, somebody can't punch me in the face again. You get punched in the face. I think I'm learning the lesson. And I think I won't say somebody can't punch me in the face. Pow! You got hit 3 times. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna say that no more because it can happen. So if you see like writers, they screw it up, figure out how to make it good, how to make it good.
Now, I agree with you saying, and I think what I would say is like when you're and when I mean find your voice, it's kind of like what you're gonna write about and what you, or what your story is gonna be about. So it's
Mm,
easiest for you to kind of look at what you know and what you like to actually like, which you're gonna be more passionate about it if you're writing about something or you're creating stories about something that you're interested in or something
yes.
that you have interest in. For example, if you're like you like cars and you want to do, you got a a car thing going on. And you want to do, I'm in the comic books, but my when I, on my on my spare time, I'm just a car enthusiast. You might want to do a comic that is kind of like Speed Racer or something, you know,
Yes. Yes.
because you get to draw like cool cars. You get to like put gadgets in the cars. You get to do, and it's racing or whatever. So that's kind of where I was going with that. And like I said, the things that I've kind of delve into are like mystic type stuff and supernatural stuff, and
Yeah.
it kind of
I
crosses
did
over
about
with
everything.
historical significance, but yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm
I guess if you tell them just like don't limit yourself, because
yeah.
like I got dogs that are like almost like East and West Coast, and they shoot each other, they steal each other's women, and they having dice games, smacking people in the mouth, and you know what I mean, and they smoking weed and making rap songs, and
Well,
yeah, the first
that
book.
fits,
And
but
then you have superheroes with spandex, and they're saving the world. And I got like another guy. He's on a weed planet fighting for sativa, a cannabis planet, and just go
those are
everywhere
two
with it.
things you that are part of what you do. You like hip hop and like
Yes,
the Hounds. That's a book that Jabbar's got out. It's yeah, to check it out. And that kind of has the hip hop vibe to it.
as a
And
voiceover, everything we did,
yeah,
voices and everything,
and
beats, everything.
you you like to partake in a little bit of what
Okay.
yeah. So you got a story about Head who that's his thing.
Yeah, nothing but weed, bro. It's
We
nothing but
yeah.
a weed
So
planet. He's
I
my
was trying
Flash
to
Gordon.
think. I was trying to think of a flashy way to say weed, but it just wasn't coming out. I was trying to think,
It's just a chronic
marijuana,
planet.
but
His
it wasn't.
daughter's little
Yeah.
sativa. The
Oh,
mom is Queen Sativa. The boyfriend, well, the new married guy that that the mom married, his name is Angel Dust. You know what I mean? And he's
yeah.
man-made, and he just goes sprinkles man-made chemicals all over the good planet of nature. There's nothing but weed, so he's trying to put chemicals in it, and they whip his behind for it. But it's mystical. The Cape has its own personality. The dragons talk,
Okay.
and
Well,
the main villain, he's a crackhead.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a
Y'all gotta
crackhead.
check that out. But this is what I'm gonna do, Jabbar. I just want to let everybody know this. This is the first Zoom thing, so I'm about to close this out.
Dig it.
I'm gonna work on I guess hopefully I might be able to get a better quality, high definition, whatever. Because I'm looking kind of blurred, but Jabbar's looking kind of crisp. I don't know. Maybe that's the iPhone in regards to
Tele
my computer screen. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Eyes will hear, ears will see, and
That's
y'all
UGC.
check us out. Check us out next week. We're gonna do another one. We're gonna try to do this every Tuesday, and I'm gonna we're gonna try to do it every Tuesday. It may come out on Thursday because I have to like do the download and all this stuff. Anyway, all righty. Thanks for checking us out.
Check us out some more, y'all. Check us out some more.
All righty.
All right.
I'm gonna holler at you, Jabbar.
All right, yo.